Sizzix live video. My name's Josh, I'm a designer here at Sizzix, and today I'm really excited because it is July and we're allowed to kind of get started using our new chapter 3 dies, which I'm so excited about. I've been through them, I was given the choice and it was really difficult to choose which die to showcase in this video today. But I went with the Decorative type here by Lisa Jones. Oh, it's a bit backwards there, we can see there. Really fantastic thin letters. It's a really lovely modern design, and it is evergreen. Evergreen, which is a word that sort of I learned recently, means it can be used all year round and it stays modern all year round. I've got an example of using it sort of further along in the year with me, and I'll show you that later. But first, let's get started with this card here. So I've chosen, as it is sort of the start of summer, I've gone with a nice summery card here with a love sentiment on the front. I chose to do it in a square here. I think these letters really lend themselves to that kind of chic modern layout. They also come with these nice little flower elements here. I have used actually one of the holly leaves there, but you can't really tell because I've used it in our green tea colour, so I've kept it kind of summery, but this is one of the ones that sort of makes it look a bit more Christmassy when you're using it later on in the year, and I'll show you that later. So let's get started with this make then. What I've done first is I used one of my square framelits here, and I've just used that to cut this square, which is what I'm going to do now. I've pre-made my little flower elements because they are quite fiddly, but they are worth it. I just need to see if I have any of my, there we go, Sizzix tweezers with me. And I have inked a tiny little area of this piece of card there, just to make the letters pop, as you can see. We've used cherry blossom for the letters in our cardstock. And we're going to use some of our little sequins here, also in cherry blossom. As you can see, our colour story just makes everything tie in together. Okay, so I'm going to go with a sort of mid-range square here. It's going to fit these letters in really nicely. I'm going to frame them. This is what I love about framelits. The clues in the name, you use them to frame around something that you want to cut. So if you had a picture of something and you wanted to die cut it, and a framelit's where you need to go, because you can see exactly sort of the area around it and whether you got it even and centered and all that. Okay, so we're just going to die cut that, and we're going to use this as a base to add our letters onto. Okay. Oh, cut some of my card here as well, but that's okay because we only need a little bit of it. I'm going to put this to one side and then I'm going to die cut these letters. Okay, so I'm going to use my multi-purpose platform for cutting Thinlit dies. I'm going to try and find the letters I need because they all do come on one sort of large element. So if you can cut the letters down and find cut your card down and find the letters you need and sort of place it over, then that's going to save you a bit of cardstock in the future. So I want love, we've got L-O-V-E, so I should be fine. Sticking it down here, just take the edges off. There we go. Sandwich it up. And there we are. So you can see these lovely thin little letters come out here. And they're just so modern and cool. They look like something off the front of a fashion magazine sometimes. I think they're really cool, well-designed dies here. So let's try and find my letters here. So we've got an L, an O. Where's my O? Can you help me, camera woman?
Is it in there?
Yes, it is. It's still in the... There we go. L-O-V and an E. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little trick of the trade now. When I'm sticking these down, I don't want to have to keep using my oh no, yeah, I realised I've spelled that wrong. So you can stop helping me now, actually. So I'm going to add a blob of glue there, and this is going to help me when I am sticking things down, because I'm not going to have to try and use this fine tip applicator. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of it off, put it on the paper, grip it with the tweezers, and then place it down. So I want to make sure that when I'm sticking them down, I've got a bit of a frame, an even frame around these letters, sort of an imaginary frame. There. You don't need to absolutely cover the backs of them. And if you get any on the front, just dab it with your finger. It'll come off on your finger. Let's make sure we spell this right. Ex-teacher. Checking my own work. V. That's about right there. So you can see my sort of imaginary frame around there is sort of a consistent thickness. And then finally the E. So you can have a lot of fun with this when you're building up the flower elements. It's, you know, you can make them as sort of detailed or as thick or as sort of like, what's the word? Big bunch of leaves as you want. I've chosen to be a bit more subtle. I've just chosen either 1 or 2 leaves per flower element. And I'm just going to have a look here. I'll do this upside down so it's the right way around for you guys at home. And I'm going to find the corners. I'm just going to stick these down onto the corners. Like so. A bit randomly. I've used a little tiny one here with just 2 of the smaller leaf elements. Nice and subtle. That's going to go on here. And again, so I'm using sort of summery colours here, but if I wanted to turn this dye, because it is one of our font dyes and it is Evergreen, you could just change the look and feel of it by using different colours, maybe some of our opulent card, and just change it to be more seasonal, which is great. And then lastly, put one on the V, not the V getting left out. Stick that down there. Okay, so you can see there that each of these letter elements has just got a little flair there with some of the florals that come with this die set. So at this point I will show you my other design, which I've used sort of more Christmassy colours for here. So I've used some of the opulent cardstock here, the charcoal with the glitter, and I've chosen to use some darker green there, and we've got hibiscus red there. So that's these are the holly leaves with the berries there, and you can see that's just more seasonal and Christmassy, and that's how we can change this die set. So if you put these next to each other here, you can just see the difference. So we've got nice summery colours, and then we've got Christmassy colours further on in the year. So they're really lovely and versatile. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've pre-cut just slightly larger to create a thin border on a piece of this cobblestone cardstock there. Just stick that down so that it's got a nice even thin border. And the thin border, I mean, I quite like a thin border, but with these letters it goes especially well because we've got the thinness of the letters sort of tied in with the thinness of the border. And I've done that twice in this card actually. As you can see now, I've cut the same size of the cherry blossom cardstock as the border card there, and I'm just going to put that on a tilt so that it remains. Again, we've got that consistent border around there. See, it's the same distance there from the edge. Stick that down, and then I'm going to use foam tape, which I have here with me. Love this stuff. I'm just going to add that to the back of this square element. Peel the back off. And then I'm going to stick that on there so that the corners of the cherry blossom cardstock there all stick out evenly. And it's nearly finished. All I've got to do now, so I pre-made this. I used the same technique as I did with the cobblestone around there. I used some green tea cardstock around here and made another thin border that again ties in with these lovely letters. So I'm just going to stick that to the front of my card base and then finish it off with, one sec, there we are, just making sure that's even. So the word of the day today is even border. I'm going to finish that off with just some of these little elements here. I mean, you could use any of these elements here. You could, scatter them around. That'd look nice. But I've just chosen to use some of the tiny little circle sequins here. And again, this is where my little technique of putting the blobs on comes in handy. If I can pick it up. Stick that one in this corner, and then I'll balance it out with one in the other corner, like so. And there we have it. So this lovely, lovely summery card that you can make at home using the Decorative type die set here by Lisa Jones. So just again, it comes with all these little elements. We have two different types of flower elements. These ones are star shaped, so if you just wanted to use stars around the letters rather than florals, you could do that as well. We have holly leaves for when we're getting towards Christmas, and then we've got these lovely kind of summery leaves as well for kind of spring and summer. And that's it. So I really hope you enjoyed watching the video. And I'd love to see your attempts at this card at home because I've been looking through them recently, and it just brings me so much happiness and joy seeing other people using our ideas and just making their own creations with them. So thanks for watching.